need to do a little pipe beveling, and I'm too lazy to grind it. So the fine folks of H&M in Tulsa, Oklahoma have sent one of their bevelers in for me to try out and use and demonstrate. And I want to put the whole thing together from scratch. And I want to make a couple of cuts, one with Oxy Acetylene and one with plasma, just to show that, you know, the barrel mechanism for machine torches is exactly the same. So I want to make 2 cuts. This will be pretty quick, pretty simple to put together. This particular unit will go from 6 to 12-inch pipe, okay? Requires some spacers that we can turn and put in there for various pipe sizes. And we'll show you how to do all this. It's really pretty simple, but I'm telling you, this is where it's at as far as getting precision cuts, getting good, straight, consistent bevel, clean them up quick, weld them. Code quality stuff right here. So here we go. First thing I'm going to do is install the cuboid spacers. And you can tell they're all kind of different. And there's a number here. If I'm cutting 8-inch schedule 40, doesn't matter the schedule, but 8-inch pipe, I would put this in here as a spacer like this. If I was cutting 10-inch, I would put the spacer in here like this, take up less room. If I was cutting 12-inch, I wouldn't use any spacer at all. So the first thing I'm going to do is line this up for 8-inch. I like to put these going in there all the same direction, and I don't like to over tighten them. I just like to snug them up. I'm going to go ahead and set this up on the pipe so I can install the head rig. I'm just going to set it up here at random right now. There's an adjustable chain over here, which is a cool design. It just slips in and out. First thing I like to do on any size of pipe when I'm setting it up for the first time is to go ahead and hook the hook over here with the spring-loaded latch, and then I come over here and set my chain. That way my chain should be of sufficient length and I'm locked in place. Okay, so now I can comfortably install this, I'll call it a head rig, where the torch attachment goes. The spacer's required a 9/16 wrench. This requires a 1/2 inch. Ready for a torch now. I'm going to use a number 1 tip today for sufficient preheat and speed. I realize the schedule of pipe that we're cutting. Okay, we're set, we're secured, we're installed. I have this distance of this coupling distance. I may need to bring that back up just a little bit when I get my torch. First thing I want to check is, did I get the right spacers in there? So I'm looking at this distance. This distance stays the same around the pipe. I'm good. Give it a test ride. It's nice. It's nice. Bring it back up here at the top. I'm just kind of rebeveling or starting out, and I'm going to bevel this piece right here toward the end. I may leave it just like that so we can show a little bit of a pierce. Kind of a cool technique when you're cutting pipe. It's called a rolling start. You get your preheat, and about the time that you're ready to cut, ease the oxygen on, rotate one way, and come back through your start, and it keeps that start from blowing up. I'll demonstrate that in a second. I need to turn my bottles on, get my hoses set, check everything. We'll start cutting. Safety first. Always stand to the side of the cylinder, make sure these adjusting screws are loose, backed off. Turn the acetylene on slow, about 3/4 to a full turn. I'm going to go ahead and set this at about 7 psi. 7 on the acetylene. I'm using a number 1 tip. Make sure this is loose. I'm going to turn this on slow. The high pressure cylinder opens all the way. I'm going to set this about 25 to 30. Again, I want a good preheat flame, good hot preheat flame so I can fly around this pipe with a good cut. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hook the hoses up. We use quick disconnects on a lot of things around here because it's just the way we put things away and multiple setups and doing demonstrations. A lot of different styles and manufacturers a quick disconnect, but here's the thing. There's no way that I can put the acetylene on the oxygen or vice versa. They just push on. And we occasionally check these and leak check them as well. I just leak check the acetylene, it's good. Push them on. Good to go. A couple of things I always do before I start doing a lot of cutting and stuff. One of them is to make sure my settings are right, and I test fire my flame. In order to do that, I don't want to do it right over the pipe. I can't look at it, okay? I can't tell what that oxygen jet's doing per se, and I don't want to preheat this and get mill scale up under the tip or anything. So before I do anything, I always have a hand on this rig somewhere, okay? And the other thing I never do is slam this lever and let it fly back here. It's a breakover, so I just easily release it. And then remember to always set it back, okay? So I'm gonna fire this flame for the first time. I do have a tip cleaner in case I need it, because I'd be one to have a dirty tip and have to clean it right away, and then I'm looking for a tip cleaner. So I'm gonna turn the acetylene on, light it till it quits smoking, add oxygen to get a neutral flame. And you'll notice that I've set my cutting oxygen lever up here out front. If I knew I was going to operate this doesn't have a rack on it, so I can slip this barrel either way. If I'm always operating it from this side, which I predominantly do, then I could turn this thing and operate it that way. I just set it up like this. Acetylene. I'm burning past my tip, need to connect that. Ease the oxygen on. Neutral flame. That is a good tip condition. I'll turn the oxygen off first, turn the acetylene off. I bump the cutting oxygen just to make sure everything's off. That was a good condition. This is a good tip. It's good, sharp, long burn. I saw the oxygen jet going down through there. Okay, so I need to move this back. Hand on the rig, release that, reset, and we're ready to cut. So a while ago I mentioned this rolling start, and I'm going to do that. Well, what's going to happen is my hoses are on the opposite side of the pipe, meaning I need to travel that way first. Otherwise, I'd be wrapping my hoses up over here. That doesn't make sense at all. Okay, so when I start, I'm going to ease this oxygen. I'm going to come this way and then go back through that, and hopefully I won't blow this thing up. I mean, you can always tell kind of where the start is. And they're repairable as well, especially on carbon. They're easily repaired if you accidentally blow one up. I'm ready to start cutting. I grabbed a dustpan over here because I think at some point in time I might be tossing fire chips at the camera guy, and I don't want to hear him whine and cry, so I might protect him out here temporarily in this bottom area here, so don't be alarmed. I may block your view for just a bit. Rolling start. Again, I'm going to light up on a neutral flame. My coupling distance is how far your flame is off your material. It's correct, so I'm going to light up, probably put this in my pocket, get ready to go. When this thing gets about cherry red and I think I can pierce through it, I will say this: if you leave it on there too long and you start to see a sparkle show and a depression, it's too hot. You need to get away from it, get out of it, move this thing over here or something. But when it's timed about right and I recognize that condition, I'm going to ease the oxygen jet on, pierce the pipe as I'm rolling, and then I'm going to roll back through it slowly, and then I'm just going to take off and do a normal speed. The quality of the cut is the travel speed, okay? All right, here we go. I got a dirty tip. Just by setting it up there, a little mill scale got in there. You have got to be kidding me. I've got preheat flames that are separated from the tip. Is there any way you can zoom in on that flame? Because that is like the worst flame ever. This is almost comical. Wow. I don't know what that was all about, but you know, stuff happens to me, and you know I don't try to hide it, so here we go. When I test fired this the first time, it was clean. When I lit up, for whatever reason, man, it was like the worst flame ever. So I'm gonna come in here and clean some preheat holes. Hey, I test fired this. You saw me test fire it. It came out clean, it came out nice. I moved it over here and got ready to cut. And it's like the preheat fingers separated from the flame, and it got weird. And I made one of the worst cuts I've made in a long time on pipe. It could be saved, I guess, with some grinding. It's got some gator tracks in it, gouges. So it's like I lost preheat completely. A couple places I lost the cut, so not cool. But it happens. I mean, that's what happens when you got a fouled tip. And I don't know why this one fouled after I already tested it, but there it is. I got to live with it. So let's go again. Now the hoses are on this side of the pipe, so my initial start is to roll that way for a little bit and then come back through it. Here we go. Better not do it again. Come on, darling, cut good. Much better flame this time. As soon as you make your cut, as soon as you quit your cut, I like to keep rolling. You know, some people come up here and they stop, start talking or whatever, and this flame is still going. Whether your oxygen's on or not, it's going to sit there and just melt that thing out. So, you know, crap, even I could weld that. That's nice. Looks straight, bevel consistent, much better cut quality. So, you know, flame condition, man, I lost it on the first one. Just, I don't know what that was all about, but you know my luck. It'll happen. If it's going to happen to anybody, it's going to happen to me. So, that's pretty nice. So, there's your Oxy Acetylene cut, H&M beveler. We'll change this out. We'll go into a plasma cut. I'm going to shut this rig down, so I need to leave the torch connected to the hoses so that I can release all the pressure off of it. I've never known correctly, or if it makes a difference, which one of these you turn off first. I always like to argue about that too. It's kind of fun. I'll turn this, no I won't, I'll turn the oxygen off first. Okay. But the correct sequence is to turn the cylinders off. Turn the bottles off first. You have to release the pressure out of here before you do anything. So the first one I'll release is the acetylene. The needles drop to 0. Now I release the pressure adjusting screw. Close the acetylene on the torch. Open the oxygen. Both needles drop. Release the tension on the diaphragm, back that off till it's just loose. Actually, these new ones won't come all the way out. They're kind of nice. Turn the torch off. Push forward on the quick disconnect, pull it off. Okay? I separate the torch and go store it. Roll the hoses up on the cart. Good to go. Okay, we're gonna cut, we're gonna do the second part of our cut with plasma, 8-inch, schedule 40. I'm gonna go ahead and set the amperage at 60. The start on the plasma, what I normally do is, it's kind of a variation of a rolling start that I do, and I've had better success with it, is to just start rolling before I start the arc. And it tends to, instead of blowing it up into the surface that you want, it blows it up to the outer side of it and kind of leaves an edge, and then when the torch comes around, it kind of finishes that section off. That's the best luck that I've had. So the rolling start going backwards and forwards hasn't worked for me very well on plasma. So, you know, to say that I do a rolling start with plasma, yes, but it's all in one direction. I'm gonna give that a go. Well, I guess you could see that was hot and fast. We don't play. We don't mess around. Cut quality. We've got both rings. They're both same angle. A little bit different. Got just a little bit of a depression right here. Not bad. Again, I was trying to roll before I ever even initiated the arc. So, you know, once we pierced and got going, I went ahead and cranked it on pretty hard. And I had my hood on, I had it set to the grind mode, so that's getting after it. Is one better than the other one? This was faster, obviously. You know, but if you're out in the field and you don't have a plasma cutter and you need to be extremely portable, Oxy Fuel. If you're in the shop or somewhere around a power source and you do have a plasma, or if you're doing stainless or something like that, plasma's the way to go. But unless you have this nice unit here to strap it onto, you know. So we marry all these components together and we figure out how to do some cuts, and that's how we do it. 8-inch Schedule 40, Oxy Acetylene demo, and then we strapped over to the plasma and got after it. Anyway, I'd like to give a big shout out to the fine folks in Tulsa, Oklahoma from H&M for sending us this unit to put together and demonstrate. Thank you very much. Hope you found this educational. Please subscribe to our channel. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and thanks for watching Weld.com.